We got Bianca now! Hello everybody and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I am watching that microphone bar like a frickin' hawk. As in, it's in the corner of my eye mostly. We got a normal score. Norma! Steven, I've been told many times I take things too seriously, so I'm going to try to loosen up. I'm going to be more spontaneous, less stuck in the rules and recipes. I'm serious. Oh, you're thinking this now. That's fair. Leave the spontaneity to people like me who just simply don't care. Some people need to be, you know, we need wet people so that, you know, the fireboxes and Tinder brands don't burn the world down. So, you know, it's fine to be a stickler for the rules and recipes. Look, there you go. Really focused on this? What are you making? Really crafted a golden vase. Ooh, great way to learn by doing. Totally obsessed with it. I already know how to make one, I guess. I thought I didn't. It didn't sound familiar, but... Welp. So I end up looking that way. It's because they picture on my stream. It is Sunday, no turnips, because... Okay. I had initially planned to wake up at like 5:30-ish, get out of bed, have a shower, record, stream. I got out of bed at 7. Yeah, I overslept, and that kind of put a wrench into my plans. I still could have recorded, but the thing I was thinking was, well, at 7 itself, with my mother still asleep, can't shower until she gets up. But she tends to wake up around 7, so she's awake early enough I can hop in the shower before I stream. At least get that part of it done. She didn't get up until a little after 8. For those who don't know, my Saturday streams are now starting at 9 a.m. So if you're a regular viewer of mine and you're wondering, hey, where are the Saturday streams at? 9 a.m. That's where they at. The reason for this is because Ruby also streams on Saturdays, and they start at noon my time. So that gives me 3 hours to get my own stream in before I then pass along any viewers I've got to Ruby and then get to work modding. Which is, I think it's a situation I'm fine with. Like, Jesus. So many. So I'm walking around without my freaking shovel out. It's not a meteor shower, it's just random showers, I guess. And the good kind of showers. I am very tired today, though. Like, way too tired today. And I know because my mic cutting out, I didn't actually finish my ramble yesterday, but I just needed to get that out, and I got it out. I don't even remember what I was talking about after the mic cut out, before I noticed the mic had cut out. I hope you guys liked the really long episode yesterday, because, like, I was kind of annoyed during the last bit, but I still hope you guys enjoyed the really long episode. I still can't believe my mic came unplugged. And I still don't know what did it, or like what caused it. Because the only thing that happened was I turned and started typing on my keyboard. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, It's a computer. It does what it wants. It is also a case of, well, not a case of, but I was actually talking with somebody earlier who I remember having a bunch of random computer issues with Windows 10. And the more I learn about how Windows operates, the more I'm understanding exactly why they had the issues they had with Windows 10. So, with Windows, basically, almost everything that installs a driver, or updates a driver, or does something on the driver side of things, basically uses Windows Update to perform that download. So, if you have Windows Update force disabled, like not just turned off, but completely disabled, unable to be opened, and as this person described it, literally the file set to read only, so that it literally couldn't possibly be fixed by Windows itself. Hello, Tutu. Have shopping here? I love window shopping here, and regular shopping too. Let's stop. The store's just so warm and cozy. Sometimes I find a quiet corner and take a nap. Very fair. I'm sure the boys don't mind. So as you might imagine, this person had some problems with their audio drivers and then couldn't fix them, and blames the drivers, the company that makes those drivers, instead of themselves, for literally disabling the service that those drivers required to properly install. There was almost certainly an update to them, and they couldn't properly perform their update, and it broke them. Because they would still try, and it probably loaded a bunch of junk files into places that it couldn't then process. Because Windows Update had been force disabled, unable to be used. Because they were complaining about, they had saved a game they were playing, got up and go use the washroom, and Windows updated on them in the time they were gone. It's like, yeah, my computer hasn't updated in forever. And then they're like, well, I couldn't be bothered to go through the process of killing Windows Update again. So you don't have to kill it. You shouldn't kill it. It's a bad idea. You just need to set Windows Update to off. Not disabled, but off. Basically manual startup. That way, it will not start on its own, so it won't search for, say, Windows updates. But anything that needs it can use it, and then because of how stuff works, when it's done using it, it just shuts the service back off again, and the service never has a chance to scan for updates. It's great. My computer has not been updated in a very long time, and probably will remain that way. Like, I'm obviously never going to be like, I'm on this exact version of Windows, because that's stupid. But I'm not on the most up-to-date one. The only way you're going to get me to update my version of Windows is if some actual tangible security threat is found that is unable to be fixed. Like, and I mean an actual tangible threat, not a threat that's, well, if the attacker has local access. Like, no, I'm sorry. I don't dilly-dally with remote access tools. Sorry, silly, I'm inside the shop all day, but sunny weather helps you work faster. Or maybe it's just I'm making shorter sleep. Maybe. Like, that's the only way a local vulnerability could be exploited, is through basically remote access software, and I don't use that stuff because of that. Like, you don't need that in of itself is a security vulnerability. Like, the only time I have ever used anything remote software related was when Skype added something that allowed you to have basic control of someone's computer while you were like in a call with them, and screen sharing. And it was only done to help my ex with a computer problem. And afterwards, we basically never used that feature again. Because I never wanted to use that feature again. I didn't really want to have to use it in the first place, but computer issues are not simple for anybody. They were even harder for her, it seems. Yeah, this is what I mean by the floor and wall. I don't know if you guys heard that part. Her floor and wall is not very good, but... Wait, thanks for your suggestion the other day. You were right. The island is, like, gorgeous. So excited for my new life here. Let's catch up once I'm done unpacking. I might see if I can give her a new flooring to give her a better floor. Because I don't think there's a flooring anymore that has a rug already on it. But what I could probably do is just give her a nice, like, hardwood flooring. And I think that would greatly improve how her house looks. She also used to, in New Leaf, which is the game she was introduced in, she used to have an event wall as her wallpaper. Like, she had the one of the ice ones. So, yeah. Sky! Welcome, Steven. Glad you stopped by, Queen. Let's chat. My latest sewing project has really thrown me for a loop. Creating the pattern itself was a breeze, but the scent component has been hard to perfect. And what's the point of making a cuddly chow mein plushie if it doesn't smell as good as it looks? I mean, that's fair. That's very fair. Serrano has not been out of his house for many days. Maybe he's slowly learning I want him gone. Here's this thing about you, Sparkles. Let's talk. Guess what? I was playing single-player hide-and-seek and I won. So bored. So... yeah. We have multiple villagers for you to play with. Zoops! Feeling psyched, King. Stop for a chat. Oh, this weather rocks. Come on, just lay out and enjoy the weather, King. It's very fair. Whoop. Muffy! Pasquawker, was hoping I'd see you. Let's chat. Enjoying the evening nightshade? Me too. Nights get me hyped. As they should. Nights are pretty cool. The way they move 2 squares and then 1 square to the side, that's pretty cool. Love how they do that. But yeah, like, it's why a lot of the recent, like, big security scares haven't been a concern to me. Like, yeah, sure, these companies are probably crapping themselves that this stuff is being discovered in the first place. But it doesn't concern me. I don't use remote access software, period. If somebody were to ever ask me to install remote access software, I'm going to tell them no. Adding on to this, if you ever get a call from Microsoft, PayPal, Amazon, wherever, and they ask you to install TeamViewer, really any remote access software. I can only think of TeamViewer at the moment. If they ask you to install any of that stuff, they aren't from that company. They are scammers. Hang up. And I hope you haven't given them any information up until that point. If you get an email from one of these places, or supposedly one of these places, and it gives you a phone number to call, and when you call it, you get asked to install some of this software, that is a scammer. Hang up. It is rather nice that a lot, at least it seems like a good number of phone carriers are just labeling phone numbers as potential spam. That is great. I love to see that. Like, my phone number here. Let me pull up my recent calls. I've got... Okay, those are apparently a real number. But I've got possible spam, likely fraud, possible spam, possible spam, likely fraud, possible spam, possible spam. So, you know, I like that they're doing that. But, you know, still be careful. And remember, if you've been the victim of a scam, even the most informed, up-to-date person can be scammed. You can be. Anybody can be. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to learn from. It can be a life-changing lesson, but it's something to learn from so you can be more prepared for the next time. Like, I honestly wish governments around the world would do a much better job of freaking doing something about scammers, but some of them are getting there, slowly. It's only taken them many years, and constant tips, and people pointing out, hey, this person's a scammer, can you do something about them? You know, perfectly normal things you should have to tell a government. And then watch that government proceed to then not actually do anything. I'm not firing some shots at a certain government where most of these scammers tend to be located because they can get away with it. And it ain't China, but it's close. Well, I mean, the country is in close proximity to China. And no hate to the people of that country except the scammers. Honestly, no hate towards really just about anybody except scammers. Scammers can go choke on something for all I care. Get a real job, guys. Like, literally, okay. I know there would be somebody, especially these scammers, who would go, but you see what you're doing is not a real job. Except I've been paid for this, legitimately, for entertaining people. I am an entertainer. That is a real job. A scammer is not a real job. That's why you get arrested for doing it. If it was a real, legitimate job, you wouldn't be arrested for doing it. Now, admittedly, there are scammers who are paid for what they do. Hello, Gala. Good evening to you. Don't you love an evening walk, Snorty? It's the latest. About midway through, you can throw pottery to it. A lot of them are reading that book. You know, there are some people who do scamming, who get paid for it. It's a legitimate job. Those are what we would consider white hat scammers. Much in the same vein as white hat hackers. They work for governments and organizations to basically try to social engineer and scam employees and get sensitive information so that these companies and governments can shore up their, you know, their security. You know, it's the kind of thing that Pirate Software did. Which I still don't understand exactly how he was terribly successful at it, because from what he sounds like, he's very bad at it. Or these companies that were hiring him were just stupid. Though, I mean, he apparently was doing this for Blizzard, which... Okay, so to explain, what he claims he did was he would call up people, like executives or higher-ups, and basically just go, hey, can I have your login details for this? And they would give it to him. And now you might think, well, those people are stupid. Pirate Software is the son of one of the original employees of Blizzard. That's why he could get that information. These people probably assumed he was asking because his dad asked him to. He might have even said that. And this apparently led to some people getting terminated. I honestly do wonder what he was telling the execs at Blizzard after he would successfully do this kind of stuff. Because if he was spinning the same bullcrap that he spun to his audience for years about him being an elite hacker and all the amazing stuff he did. And he was so good at social engineering and all this stuff. If he spun that same bullshit to them and they bought it, they could have fired people from him lying to them. Which, it's probably been too long at this point, but if there's anybody who had been fired because of a audit from, Pirate Software at Blizzard, I imagine there's a pretty good chance that they might still be able to file a wrongful termination lawsuit against Blizzard. Because everybody may have been lied to in this situation. I'm just speculating. This is all speculation. I'm not making any allegations, but... How much you want to bet the other OG Blizzard employees constantly needle Pirate Software's father for hiring his son? And all the crap that's caused Blizzard. Whoops. I actually thought this might have been a shell had washed up. I really shouldn't keep rambling about that guy, but it just... I absolutely hate when nobodies give game development a bad name, if that makes any sense. And I'm gonna be completely honest. He's effectively a nobody who managed to convince people that he was somebody. And I'm gonna also be pretty real. I can't imagine his audience contained many game developers over the years. And I say this as somebody who I saw his shorts long time ago. His game design shorts, where he was talking about various things in game design and pulling up MS Paint, as he does, to demonstrate his point. Because yeah, this elite game developer uses MS freaking Paint. Of course. And almost every time I'd see a short of his, I would sometimes click on them because clickbait. They were clickbaity. And I'd watch them and basically just have the response of, no, that's not how that works. And I'm not even a proper game designer or developer. I've not made a product yet. I have made a game before, but it was during one of my classes I took, and I don't count that as making a game. It was baby's first game. I would not slap that on Steam with a price tag, unlike somebody. It's not worth that. I don't even have it anymore. It was Asteroids. There's a lot of, game design courses where throughout them, you'll basically be tasked with making, usually Asteroids. But sometimes it'll be like Breakout or, just basically some basic old game that's not the hardest to make, that was probably already made by somebody in their bedroom. Because that's the fun thing about early game development, which should really go to show you where the creativity in game development went. These big publishers, even the ones that have been around forever, would take submissions from people. A lot of the very early, even Activision games, and they've been around for a very long time. Activision published, not Activision made. The Activision published games were made by an independent dude in his bedroom who spent like a week to 2 weeks programming it, sometimes a month or two. They would just send the games off and be like, hey, you want to sell my game? Pay me royalties for it? And then if it's good enough, Activision or Atari or, one of the many companies that were around back then would sell the game, pay some royalties. If you want to know how far Activision fell, there's a magazine from back when Activision first burst onto the scene as a game development studio. One of the first Western game development studios, where they were announcing who they were and what they stood for. And basically, they went on to say what would now be PR spin, but back then I could believe them being quite genuine. They stood for the gamer, as well as that programmer. They were the first company to start actively putting the name of who programmed and made the game on the game box. Like, they were the first one to start putting actual credit into the products they were selling. Atari actively wanted you to not do that. Man, I'm messing up all my fishing today. I might as well sell things. But Activision, they wanted you to. They wanted you to be proud of what you made. You think they still want that? Look who it is, Steven. Nice to see you here, Tallnut. Let's chat. Stepped in today because I had a feeling there might be a bargain waiting for me. I just need to find it. I mean, that radio is pretty cool. I want to sell. My offering. A lot of beach junk. Some fish. There's a crab in there. Let's see. 9,000 bells. 19,000. Well, there was a 9 in there. Alright, let's go put some money away. I see a lot of movement. I look over and I see the 8-bit drummer is having a sub-bomb dropped on him. Good. Very good. I really need to get around to, like... Aw, that's very kind of you, Bella. I really need to get around to, like, setting up, like, a coffee page. Because, like... I also need to go through the process of setting up membership and stuff. But, like... I'm gonna be real. I already had an AdSense account. And I don't remember the login details for it. And I'm pretty sure it was tied to a phone number I don't have anymore. So I don't know if I can even recover it. My only hope is that maybe over time Google removed my AdSense account because I had lost monetization. That way, I could just make it again? Maybe? That would be ideal. That's honestly what's been stopping me lately on doing that, is like, I don't know if I need my old AdSense login. That's a fun thing to not be able to remember. I mean, I'm on a new computer as well, so I'd have to log in again anyway, and I'd probably need to verify off of the phone number I'm pretty sure I don't have anymore. So it might be tied to my mother's phone number, which would be ideal. I'm hoping that I'm done changing phone numbers, because I've been through like 4 of them in the past like decade. So, you know. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you back here next time for more Animal Crossing New Horizons. See you all then.